जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। Today I was inspired to speak a little bit about Sri Madhavendra Puri. So we will recite a verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 4, Sri Madhavendra Puri's devotional service. Text number 1. Yasmai Tatum Chorayan Shirabhandam. Yasmai Dhatum Chorayan Shirabhandam. Gopinataha Shirachora Abhidaha Abhut. Gopinatha Shirachora Abhidho Bhut. Shri Gopalaha Pradurasit Vashaha San. Shri Gopala Pradurasit Vashak San. Yat Premna Tam Madhavendram Natahasmi. Yat Premna Tam Madhavendram Natosmi. Yasmai Datum Chorayan Shirabhandam. Gopinatha Shirachorabhidho Bhut. Shri Gopalaha Pradurasid Vashasan. Yat Premnatam Madhavendram Natosmi. Yasmai Datum Chorayan Shirabhandam. Gopinatha Shirachorabhito Bhut. Shri Gopalaha Pradurasid Vashasan. Yat Premnatam Madhavendram Natosmi. Yasmai Datum Chorayan Shirabhandam. Gopinatha Shirachorabhito Bhut. Shri Gopalaha Pradurasid Vashasan. Yat Premnatam Madhavendram Natosmi. Yasmai Dhatum Chorayan Shirabhandam. Gopinatha Shirachorabhidho Bhut. Shri Gopala Pradurasid Vashasan. Yat Premnatam Madhavendram Natosmi. Yasmai Dhatum Chorayan Shirabhandam. Gopinatha Shirachorabhidho Bhut. Shri Gopala Pradurasid Vashasan. Yat Premnatam Madhavendram Natosmi. Yasmai Dhatum Chorayan Shirabhandam. Gopinatha Shirachorabhidho Bhut. Shri Gopala Pradurasid Vashasan. Yat Premnatam Madhavendram Natosmi. Yasmai. Unto whom? Datum. To deliver. Chorayan. stealing. Kshira bhandam, the pot of sweet rice. Gopinataha, Gopinatha. Kshira chora, stealer of a pot of sweet rice. Abhidaha, celebrated. Abhut, became. Shri Gopalaha, Shri Gopala deity. Pradurhasit, appeared. Vashaha, captivated. San, being. Yat premna, by his love. Tam, unto him. Madhavendram, Madhavendra Puri, who was in the Madhva Sampradaya. Nataha asmi, I offer my respectful obeisances. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Madhavendra Puri, who was given a pot of sweet rice stolen by Sri Gopinatha, celebrated thereafter as Sri Chora. Being pleased by Madhavendra Puri's love, Sri Gopala, the deity at Govardhana, appeared to the public vision. Translation with repetition. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Madhavendra Puri, who was given a pot of sweet rice stolen by Sri Gopinatha, celebrated thereafter as Sri Chora. Being pleased by Madhavendra Puri's love, Sri Gopala, the deity at Govardhana, appeared to the public vision. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Bhakti Vinoda Thakur annotates that this Gopala deity was originally installed by Vajra, the grandson of Krishna. Madhavendra Puri rediscovered Gopala and established him on top of Govardhana hill. This Gopala deity is still situated at Nathadwara and is under the management of descendants of Vallabhacharya. The worship of the deity is very luxurious, and one who goes there can purchase varieties of prasada by paying a small price. Thus ends the Transcendental Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanathimmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prachadine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sri Madhavendra Puri comes in Madhva Sampradaya. So Madhvacharya, so there are 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas, and one of the Sampradayas, Brahma Madhva Sampradaya, in which Madhvacharya is a prominent Acharya, and in that line of disciplic succession, as we see in the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, the disciplic succession is mentioned at the end of the introduction. So in that we can see that Srila Prabhupada comes as 32nd Acharya in that disciplic succession. So in that we can see that Krishna, Brahma, Narada, Vyasa, Madhvacharya, Padmanabha, Narhari, Madhava, Akshobhya, Jayatirtha, and in that way it goes until Lakshmi Pati, and then comes as 20th Acharya Madhavendra Puri. And the disciple of Madhavendra Puri. He had many disciples, but then the next in disciple section that is mentioned here is Ishwara Puri, and Ishwara Puri is the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this disciple section that is mentioned here, the name of Madhavendra Puri is very, very significant. It is very significant because until the point of Lakshmipati in the Madhva Sampradaya, the worship of only Lord Krishna was taking place. Only after Madhavendra Puri that the worship of both Srimati Radharani and Krishna started. Actually, Madhavendra Puri is the one who introduced the conjugal love. Until then, the devotees in the disciplic succession were worshipping the Lord with respect, but not in the mood of conjugal love. Actually, the highest form of devotion is exhibited by the gopis, and that is exhibited more specifically in love and separation. Especially Srimati Radharani, when Lord Krishna went away from Vrindavan, she was deeply aggrieved and she was intense in her love. So this mood, which is exhibited by gopis, was not known until Madhavendra Puri introduced this. And later, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed this to the entire world because he was filled with those symptoms of ecstatic love for Krishna in separation. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mood of Srimati Radharani, always exhibited that ecstatic love for Krishna. So this was the beginning of, so Tattvavadis, they would only worship the Lord with, not in the mood of conjugal love. So this, which was introduced by Madhavendra Puri, led to the formation of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So the traditional followers of Madhvacharya are known as Tattvavadis, but from Madhavendra Puri and more specifically from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so the word Gaudiya is added because that refers to the followers of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who belong from the region of Bengal. So in one way we can say that actually Madhavendra Puri, we are all following in the footsteps of Madhavendra Puri, for he has introduced the worship of Radha and Krishna in this tradition. And therefore Srila Prabhupada emphasizes in various places that we should follow the footsteps of Sri Madhavendra Puri in offering worship to the deities based on the various pastimes that happened during Madhavendra Puri's presence in this world. So this verse that we are today discussing, so Madhavendra Puri is very special in our sampradaya, and the glories of Madhavendra Puri is difficult to comprehend and difficult to explain, and it is so vast. So a tiny attempt would be made just to get a glimpse of what is being said in the books by Srila Prabhupada. So this verse specifically is being saying that Nato Asmi Madhavendram. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is beginning this chapter offering obeisances to Madhavendra Puri. And here some wonderful qualities of Madhavendra Puri is being described, that Yasmai Dhatum Chorayan Shira Bhandam Gopinatha Shir Chorabhido. So Madhavendra Puri was such a great devotee that the Lord personally stole a pot of sweet rice. So the Lord is coming to do something for a devotee personally. Is not an ordinary thing. So, Yasmai Dhatum Chorayan, and Dhatun, to deliver. And how is that Lord is giving? By stealing. Chorayan. Shira Bhandam, the pot of sweet rice. So the Lord Gopinatha in the village of Remuna, when actually, maybe we'll discuss a little later, but the Lord is personally coming out and stealing a pot of sweet rice to give it to his dear devotee Madhavendra Puri. And therefore, the Lord Gopinatha in this village called Remuna is known as, celebrated as Shira Chora Gopinath. So this is that the Lord's name is because of his activity or of his reciprocation with his devotee, and therefore his name becomes Shira Chora. So it's not an ordinary thing that how much he has love for his devotee is being seen here. And then not only Gopinatha, but Sri Gopalaha Pradurasid Vashaha San, being Lord Gopala appeared to Madhavendra Puri. One may wonder, why did Lord appear to Madhavendra Puri and he doesn't appear to us? That is being mentioned here. Actually, the Lord, Vashaha San Yat Premna, the Lord was captivated by the love of Madhavendra Puri. So much captivated that he appeared to Madhavendra Puri. So this is a wonderful pastime, that the Lord's reciprocation is that he is himself coming and revealing that I am here, please take me, please worship me. So one can understand how glorious Madhavendra Puri is. So I offer my respectful obeisances unto Madhavendra Puri, who was given a pot of sweet rice stolen by Sri Gopinatha, celebrated thereafter as Shira Chora. Being pleased by Madhavendra Puri's love, Sri Gopala, the deity at Govardhana, appeared to the public vision. So there are many things that can be discussed, but I'll keep it very simple to just give an overview of few things that are mentioned here. And one thing very briefly that is important to discuss is that this pastime is being narrated by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his devotees in this place of Remuna, of Gopinath temple, Shri Chora Gopinath temple. So when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was coming from Bengal to Jagannath Puri, he was visiting various places, and on his way he also came to this place of Remuna. And when he came to Remuna, seeing the deity of Gopinath, he was very, very ecstatic. And as Mahaprabhu does everywhere, he was chanting and dancing. And then he also wanted to taste the Shira, the pot of sweet rice. And therefore he stayed there so that next day he can take the pot of sweet rice. And it is there he narrates this pastime to the devotees who are assembled there. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that he had heard this pastime from his spiritual master Ishwara Puri about Madhavendra Puri, and therefore he is describing this to the devotees who are assembled there. So here, just to give you an overview of the pastime, so Madhavendra Puri, he traveled to Vrindavan, and when he traveled to Vrindavan, he was worshipping the Lord, and he was in deep meditation, and he was in such a meditation that he would not even attempt to go and take anything for himself, that he would not even go and beg and ask someone to give anything to eat. So he was so deeply absorbed that the Lord himself decides that I should come and give something. So the Lord comes and gives a pot of milk. And so it is said, while he was sitting beneath a tree, an unknown cowherd boy came with a pot of milk. placed it before Madhavendra Puri and smilingly addressed him as follows. So, the devotees, when they are so deeply engrossed in the service of the Lord, actually they don't have to worry about themselves. To the degree one surrenders, the Lord reciprocates. And if one surrenders completely, the Lord personally reciprocates. And that is being seen here. And the Lord is coming and saying, Puri e dugdalana karatumi pana, magi kene nahi khao, kiba kara dhyana. O Madhavendra Puri, please drink the milk I have brought. Why don't you beg some food to eat? What kind of meditation are you doing? So Lord is so pleased that the devotee is not asking for anything. And therefore Lord is coming asking, what kind of meditation are you doing? And why don't you eat some food? And when Madhavendra Puri saw the beauty of that boy, he was feeling very happy, and more importantly, all his hunger and thirst went away, simply by seeing the Lord and hearing the sweet words. Then Madhavendra Puri said, who are you? Where do you reside? And how did you know that I was fasting? So the boy replied, Sir, I am a cowherd boy, and I reside in this village. In my village, no one fasts. So, in this village, a person can beg food from others and thus eat. Some people drink only milk, but if a person does not ask anyone for food, I supply him all his eatables. So actually, it's a tradition that a sannyasi, a devotee can go house to house and beg, or anyone would be very willing to offer whatever is prepared or whatever is required for that devotee or that sannyasi who is asking for alms. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go village to village and he would collect from the houses of brahmanas some items for cooking, and he would make prasada. Or he would go to some brahmana's house and take prasada. So it's actually important that the devotees must be treated very well when they visit the house. They should be offered whatever is necessary. So that was the tradition. And then furthermore, the Lord is saying that the women who come here to take water saw you, and they supplied me with this milk and sent me to you. So the Lord is telling, how did I come to know? The women were seeing, and they told me, they supplied me with this milk and told to give it to you. Then the Lord says, I must go very soon to milk the cows, but I shall return and take back this milk pot from you. So the Lord says, I'll come back. But suddenly then the Lord disappears from that place. As soon as Lord disappears, Madhavendra Puri takes the milk, but then he's waiting, when will that boy come? He went in that path, but after seeing that path, he's seeing that path, but in that path there is no one who's coming back. So Madhavendra Puri could not sleep, and he was chanting the whole night. Prabhupada says he was chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and at the end of the night, he was unable to sleep. When will he come? When will he come? And he could not sleep. And then towards the end of the night, he just dozed off a little bit. And when he dozed off, in a dream, Madhavendra Puri saw the same boy. The boy came before him and holding his hand, took him into the bush in the jungle. And the boy showed Madhavendra Puri the bush and said, I reside in this bush, and because of this, I suffer very much from severe cold, rain showers, winds, and scorching heat. Please bring the people of the village and get them to take me out of this bush. Then have them situate me nicely on the top of the hill. So that very boy who came to give milk has appeared in the dream of Madhavendra Puri, and is saying, he is taking Madhavendra Puri into the jungle, into a bush, and saying, I reside here. And for many, many days, I'm here, because of which there is scorching heat, there is sunlight, there is rain. So please take me out. Bring the people from the village. And then please install me on the top of the hill. So and Lord says, please construct a temple on the top of that hill and install me in that temple. After this, wash me with large quantities of cold water so that my body may be cleansed. So actually, this is a very instructive pastime. I was trying to study, but it is too vast and too deep. So, how the deity has to be installed? And interestingly, Madhavendra Puri does this entire thing in just one day. So in the night, he dozes off. He comes to know that, oh, Lord has told me to do this. And within a day, all the villagers, they go with various equipments to cut down the bushes, go to the place. Lord was very heavy. Then very strong men came. They carried the Lord to the top of the hill. They put a very nice stone as a throne, and then they put another stone in the back to support the Lord, and they place the Lord, and they do various ceremonies, various activities. And Prabhupada describes again and again that how one should follow in the footsteps of Madhavendra Puri and worship the deity. So it is also important to note that why is that the Lord is coming to Madhavendra Puri? The Lord himself is explaining that why is that the Lord specifically coming and telling Madhavendra Puri, come and take me. So Lord says, Bahudina tomara patha kari nirikshana, kabe asi madhava ama karibe sevana. Bahudina tomara patha kari nirikshana. For many days I have been observing you. The Lord is actually observing all of us. That's what we are doing. We may not be very aware of that fact. But actually, the Lord is always observing. And Kabe asi madhava ama karibe sevana. The Lord is observing and he is wondering, he is waiting. When will Madhavendra Puri come here to serve me? Actually, Lord chooses his devotees to serve him. And when he is very pleased by the devotion, he accepts their service. Tomara prema vashe kari seva angikara, darshana diye nistariva sakala samsara. I have accepted your service due to your ecstatic love for me. There is no other price one can pay to obtain the service of the Lord. Actually, all the sum and substance of all philosophy, if we look at all the Vaishnava songs or many songs, at the end, if you look at the word asha, what is my asha? They only say one asha, to do service. Please give me some service. Please give me some service. And the service was obtained when we have sincere desire to serve without any fruitive activity. Fruitive activity means to obtain something for oneself. That could mean as far as higher planetary system, to enjoy in a higher planetary system, to as little as to gain something for oneself or one's own family. Or to give up from speculation. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, this is a distinction between the Tattvavadis and the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they are only focused on the prime goal of achieving ecstatic love of Krishna. While in other places, there is some other thing. And therefore, this sampradaya is very, very unique. Some tinge of impersonalism, some tinge of fruitive activity is present everywhere. But very rarely, kaitava dharma projita kaitava atra. So, the kaitava dharma, the cheating dharma means there is a tinge of fruitive activity, there is a tinge of impersonalism. But this sampradaya, and this is being first demonstrated by Madhavendra Puri, ecstatic love for Krishna. And because of that, the Lord is willing to accept his service. Thus I shall appear, and by my audience all fallen souls will be delivered. The Lord is then revealing his name. He is saying, Shri Gopala Nama Mora Govardhana Dhari Vrajera Sthapita Ami Ihan Adhikari. My name is Gopala, the lifter of Govardhan Hill. I was installed by Vajra, and here I am the authority. So, the Lord is revealing his identity. My name is Gopala, and I was installed earlier by Vajra, the grandson of Lord Krishna, and I am also the lifter of Govardhana Hill, and therefore I am known as Govardhana Dhari. And here I am the authority, I am the Adhikari. Actually, in the ancient times, the villages, the kings, they would have a preceding deity, the Lord, who is the owner, proprietor of that place. They would not claim themselves to be the proprietor of that place. And they would entirely function keeping in mind the desires, interests, and everything centered around the Lord. Just like the Jaipur kings, they were all worshipping Govindji, and the entire city would go to the Mangalarti and do everything in accordance with the interests of the Lord, and themselves as being the servants of the Lord. So, it is very important to recognize who is the authority, to whom does this everything belongs, to whom does this place belong, and who are we. Unless our identity is not very clear, we cannot render service. If we assume we are authority, or an authority which is not our authority, then we are mistaking ourselves to something else, and therefore the right service conception will not come. So it must be very clear who is the authority, and when we recognize that, our consciousness will be well situated to render proper service. So actually, when the Muslims attacked various temples, the priest who was serving the Lord Gopala, which was installed by Vajranava, the priest had to take away the deity to this place because of being afraid that the Muslims would attack the temple and the deity. And the priest who kept the deity here, then he immediately went away in fear, forgetting about the deity. And since then, the Lord has been staying there, and he was just waiting that his devotee would come and take him from there and install him back into it in a temple and being worshipped. So, after saying this, the Lord disappears from the dream of Madhavendra Puri. And the very next day, Madhavendra Puri goes and with the help of villagers, he brings the deity to the top of the hill and starts worshipping. It's a long pastime, so perhaps we'll not get into all the details of the pastime, but it is very important, as I just briefly mentioned, that the Madhavendra Puri could do this entire thing in just one day. And there is a lot of description about how the deities were given abhisheka, how entire elaborate process of how all the villagers, they brought something for the Lord, how they engaged in the service of the Lord. Some brought rice, flowers, fruits, vegetables, some brought cows. Everyone were contributing, and everyone were making annakut and distributing prasadam to everyone who came there. So it's a very wonderful pastime, but as I mentioned, one thing which was I wanted to emphasize was the wonderful festival and installation of Sri Gopalji was arranged in one day. Certainly all this was accomplished by the potency of Gopala. No one but a devotee can understand this. Prabhupada explains the purport, something very interesting, that how this wonderful installation, actually there is a huge description. They would bring 900 pots of water, they would go to Govinda Kund, they would bring so many pots of water, so many offerings, so many different kinds of dishes, so many kinds of waters with scented waters, different kinds of oils, scented oils to bathe the Lord, and Panchagavya, Panchamrita. In this way, so many ingredients in large quantities were arranged. And all this happened in just one day. And how is that possible? Prabhupada, it said by the potency of Gopala, and Prabhupada explains some very nice things in the purport. Prabhupada says, the Krishna consciousness movement has spread all over the world within a very short time, within 5 years. And mundane people are very astonished at this. However, by the grace of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we understand that everything is possible by the grace of Krishna. So when Prabhupada wrote this, it was 5 years, maybe like 65 to 70 or 71. So it's just 5 years. So Prabhupada is specifically writing, within 5 years, the Krishna consciousness has spread all over the world. And why is this possible? Because of the mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna. Why does Krishna have to take 5 years? In 5 days, he can spread his name and fame all over the world like wildfire. Those who have faith in and devotion to Krishna can understand these things happen so wonderfully by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Prabhupada is saying, why does it need 5 years? Within 5 days, the Lord can spread all over the world like a wildfire. So actually, to have faith in the mercy of the Lord is very, very important. Prabhupada is saying, one must have faith and devotion to Krishna. Can understand that these things can happen so wonderfully well. We are simply the instruments. In the fierce battle of Kurukshetra, Arjuna was victorious within 18 days simply because Krishna's grace was on his side. So actually, what is possible, what is not possible, we do not know when there is grace. So Prabhupada further writes, if the preachers in our Krishna consciousness movement are sincere devotees of Krishna, Krishna will be always with them because he is very kind and favorable to all his devotees. So Prabhupada is saying the preachers must be very sincere. And just like Krishna and Arjuna were victorious in the battle of Kurukshetra, this Krishna consciousness movement will surely emerge victorious if we remain sincere devotees of the Lord and serve the Lord according to the advice of the predecessors, the 6 Goswamis and other devotees of the Lord. So this is very important. So sincerity means to follow in the footsteps of the predecessor acharyas, not to create something new, not to do something the way we want to do what we are supposed to do the way it is supposed to do. That means we are following the footsteps of the previous acharyas. And as Narottama Das Thakur states, Tandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanevas Janme Janme Haya E Abhilash. The Krishna conscious devotees must always desire to remain in the society of devotees. Bhakta Sanevas. They cannot go outside the Krishna conscious society or the movement. So Prabhupada is very much emphasizing must. One must remain within the society and not go away. Within the society, we must try to serve the predecessors by preaching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cult and spreading his name and fame all over the world. If we attempt this sincerely within the society, it will be successfully done. There is no question of estimating how this will happen in the mundane sense, but without a doubt, it happens by the grace. So the important point here is that if we remain within the society of devotees, so it is very important. This is not an individual effort. This is within the society. Prabhupada is emphasizing multiple times in this purport that we should serve in the society sincerely. And then Prabhupada is saying it will be successfully done within the society. And there's no question of estimating how this will happen in the mundane sense. So how it will happen? It will happen if we sincerely do within the society. So there are a lot of things that can be discussed about Sri Madhavendra Puri, but one important aspect that struck me was within this one day, this entire wonderful festival and installation could happen. And the potency, the purity of pure devotional service, the Lord is willing to come, steal the pot of sweet rice. He is willing to come and appear and is willing to take the service of the devotee. So this is something very, very glorious that Sri Madhavendra Puri, we can learn from the Madhavendra Puri, Sri Madhavendra Puri's pastime. So I just felt a little inspired to speak a few words. So So we'll stop here. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Sri Madhavendra Puri ki, Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada